Hey, welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. My name is Dan, and I'm joined with my big bro. We know him as the coach. He's not only coach in the stock markets, but he's also a coach on the basketball court as well. And we have a very special show for you today. We're in our second episode of the 2025-2026 Sports Reverends season. And if you're wondering what this podcast is all about, well, our stories are lots that have walked through different challenges of life, storms of life, the toughness of life. And we want to share how we've been pulled out of it, how we've been able to overcome. And it's only through our faith in Christ. And sports has played a big role in that, big role in developing us. But our faith in Christ is what saved us and is what's given us a new way, a better way. And we want to share that with you because we know it'll be encouraging, it'll be exciting, and you'll have a good time. So stick around. We got lots of hot sports takes to give you, but we also want to share our unapologetic faith. So, Coach, why don't you give them a rundown of the show, and let's get into it.
All right. We got our quick hitters for today. 5 wonderful bullet points that make up what's going on. We'll do a brief recap of week 1, just highlight a few games. Looking into week 2, we're not going to do all of them, but a couple of the major ones are coming out. A little bit of baseball, and then I think one of the best parts, as always, is the real talk section, and we've entitled it the importance of trust. So let's get rolling. Why don't you start us off with the first quick hitter news piece?
All right, so some sports news from around the world. Carlos Alcaraz is the new number 1 after winning the U.S. Open.
A little bit of tennis to start us off here. Finland has stunned Serbia to knock Jokic and his team out of Eurobasket.
Crazy. The Jacksonville Jaguars have the first trade of the NFL season. Tank Bigsby has been traded to the Eagles for draft picks. I believe a 4th round.
Did not take long. All right, Nottingham Forest has signed Ange Postecoglou, I definitely butchered his last name wrong, as their new manager for the upcoming season.
And I don't think that surprisingly, Russell Wilson for the New York Giants are moving forward into week 2 versus the Dallas Cowboys. Excited for that one.
Jason Dart was looking pretty good. Let's take care of some business. For those of you who've been listening to the show for a long time, you know all about Train to Invest. For those of you who are brand new and coming on this season, Train to Invest is a company that teaches you how to invest in the stock market. It takes out the mystifying stuff at the stock market, takes out the risk, and we help explain a tried and true methodology for you to earn returns in the stock market. A lot of the time when you think about the stock market, you think of a casino and you're just gambling your money away. However, we've come up with a methodology that is based on not only facts, but based on history that we've been able to teach to many of our clients and who perform very, very well. So if you're looking to figure out what to do with your TFSA, maybe you have a self-directed RRSP, maybe you have some other major expense coming up, like a wedding or your kid's going to university, anything like that, and you just want to start generating some income, we suggest you go ahead to our website at www.train2invest.com, train2invest.com, download the free ebook, and then get in connection with us. We'd love to see if what we're doing is going to be a match for you and help you along your financial journey. And if not, that's okay. Maybe we've made a new friend and move on, but what we do is very applicable, and we love to help families learn and grow and meet their financial goals and dreams. So again, that's www.train2invest.com, train2invest.com. Check out our ebook, and we look forward to hearing from you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's I was talking to Pops about the company, and he said it's been around since 2004.
Correct.
So it's over 20 years. And he said for the longest while, there's been no salespeople. It's literally been word of mouth referrals that have been bringing thousands of clients in, which is very, very impressive and exciting. I didn't really know all the details of that, so I thought that was really cool. And now we get to continue to share this with everybody. So
absolutely. All right, week one, Thursday night, Philly, Dallas. Didn't quite go the way you wanted it to, but as a neutral, it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a pretty encouraging game, especially for the expectations of the Cowboys. Most people thought it's going to be a big time blowout, but overall, I think the Cowboys actually played better. If CD caught some of those footballs, they probably win the game, and it's very uncharacteristic of CD. Even though he had a very good game, Dak Prescott looked on point. He looked like a very pocket present quarterback, and that's just, yeah, very very exciting for the Cowboys. The Eagles, look at them, they're already adding they're very futuristic in their sense of they're taking the steps of making trades after their week 1 win to
Mhm.
bolster their roster, and so that's good on them. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and they didn't have a great game themselves. Hurts played amazing.
Yes. Yeah, played
Like,
really
you
well.
got to give him that. He is such a threat with running the ball, and good for him. But it's going to be a fun division. The
Absolutely.
Commanders look good too. So
Yeah, everybody's looking pretty strong except for the Giants, but we'll leave that alone. It's hard to say. It's only been one game, but it didn't really look like they missed Micah Parsons on defense.
statistically, they were the second most team this week with the pressures on quarterbacks,
Yeah,
on drop back passes, especially. So you know what? Obviously, Micah Parsons is a difference maker, but you
absolutely.
know they were they not only held their own, they've looked better than they ever have over the last year. So good on them. Good on Schottenheimer for getting the boys looking like they're ready to go. I think that's surprising for everybody.
Yeah. It kind of expected to be more shambolic, so it's good for them that they're on a tear. So that's good. Good start. Next week they're playing the Giants. Should be a dub. Should be a dub.
I'm not predicting anything anymore for the Cowboys. I'm just riding the wave. I'm riding
All
the
right.
wave here.
All right. You love that. All right. The KC LA game.
Yeah, the
That was an
Chargers.
that was quite the game. Justin Herbert, man, just coming out of nowhere, really building off what he did last year and starting off with a bang.
Yes, Coach Harbaugh like has those guys, had him ready, and Herbert is having some kind of year. He's dating a celebrity.
Yeah,
He's 6'6". He's able to just see the speed on him. You forget how athletic he is. He's built like
absolutely.
Josh Allen and maybe faster
Yep.
than Josh Allen, which is
I
kind of
think so.
crazy.
I think
So
so.
good on him. He looked great. The Quentin, we're gonna talk a little bit about Quentin Johnston later, but looked like he's bouncing back as expected of what he's going to be like.
And I think getting a big win against a divisional rival week one, especially the Chiefs,
Yeah,
ooh, that sets you up to, maybe make some noise and win the division instead of just letting the Kansas City Chiefs roll through. Right? Getting that first win is a big, big step in that direction.
big time.
So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. And can he stay healthy? That's the big thing. Uh Big game Sunday night. I turned it off just after halftime because I'm like, you know what? I'm getting kind of old, getting kind of sleepy. This game's in. And Josh Allen not only won the game, but helped me win the whole fantasy week. Kudos to you, Josh Allen.
Big
Kudos to you.
time. Big time. We do in our fantasy league, we do a top prize for the each weekly winner that has the highest points, and Coach gets the week 1 win. Good for him. Good for him.
One for one, baby. One for
Josh
one.
Allen, Debo, your boys did well.
They did well. What did you think? Did you watch the whole game or did you turn it off or what did you do?
So by the time it was the fourth quarter and they were down, I think whatever it was, 15,
Mm-hmm.
put the game on my phone, and I was doing other stuff. I just stopped paying attention to it, and I look back with about 2 minutes left. I'm like, what has happened here? So I
Yeah.
missed all the good stuff,
Yeah.
the game of the year, and it's just incredible. Josh Allen also now married to a supermodel actress. Now and coming off an MVP season, I think he's saying like, I'm showing you why I'm the MVP,
Yeah.
and there you go. They look geared up to do well. Keon Coleman, we're going to talk about him a little bit later too.
Correct.
He is also a bounce back. They thought after his rookie year, he's a what do they call it when they
Washout.
wash out? Yeah, exactly. He's
Yeah.
say it again.
A washout or what do they call them? I think we're both thinking the same word. Just can't. It'll
Yeah,
come to us eventually.
it'll
It'll
come
come to
to
us
us. But
eventually.
yeah, washout works. A washout works.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman looks like a stud. Both those guys
Yep.
are going to be high picks on the fantasy waiver wire there. So
Absolutely.
Get on those two. So the Bills, I think Baltimore looks great as well. We're going to talk a little about
Yeah.
Baltimore later too. But what a great game! What a great game! Shows these two elite teams going at it. Both aren't great at defense, obviously, but they are going to be forces to be reckoned with. The AFC runs through those two teams, I still think.
Absolutely. And JJ McCarty making his first start of the year and coming behind to win.
Just crazy.
Vikings. Wow.
Another
Who
another
knew?
game I thought was done by halftime. I thought the Bears were gonna just look amazing and run away with it. And then what we see is the Bears do what they've done for a long, long time. They beat the Bears. They squander. They were celebrating way too early. They're acting like the game has been won when the defense has put up almost as many points as their offense. And it's just like, come on, Bears. Like, what are you doing? You had so many chances to put the foot to throat, like what
Correct.
we like to say.
Yes.
But kudos
Couldn't do it.
to the Vikings. Kudos to JJ McCarthy to stick with it. I love that the run into the end zone, his touchdown run, where he puts his shoulder down and says, I'm giving it 110%. I love that. I think that won his teammates over. They fought for
I
him
think so.
a lot
Yeah.
harder. And so good for them. Minnesota, they could be all right. They could be all right.
It makes the decision to let Sam Darnold go look one step a little better, right? Everybody thought, again, they were going to be walked all over. It was just going to be on the defense. When your quarterback does that and he performs on Monday night, which is like big stage, you gotta think, hey, we're destined for something bigger. So I think this is probably one of the most exciting week ones
Big
in
time.
a long.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It was a great week one.
All right, let's flip to week two, though. Here on Thursday, we got Washington versus, Green Bay, who surprisingly beat Detroit last week. How do we feel about this Washington-Green Bay matchup on Thursday night?
Yeah, Green Bay looked absolutely dominant against Detroit. Washington looked really good, even though it wasn't a huge blowout win against the Giants. They looked very dominant, and Jaden Daniels is special. Like, he's just a special quarterback, and it looks like they got their running back and their rookie. They said to call him Bill instead of his full name on the TV.
Cast.
So that's what I'm calling him now. And this game's going to be maybe the game of the week. So Thursday Night Football, we're going to have to end youth right at 9, and I got to get home fast so that we can at
Absolutely
least catch most of the game. So
good idea. Good idea.
are
Children,
we making
beware.
picks?
Yeah, pick a pick.
Whew, okay. You know what? I'm stepping out here. I'm going to take Washington to beat Green Bay.
All right. You're
Awesome.
reading my mind. I got Debo on my team, so I'm picking Washington as well. A bit of a, whatever. But I'll say this: Green Bay surprised a lot of people the first week.
Big time.
And I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game, especially because it's in Green Bay. I think the crowd will be a little wild. The Giants, Dad's team versus your Cowboys.
Well, I said I wasn't going to make picks, but I'm rolling with the Cowboys on this one. I'm rolling with the Cowboys on this one.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I think that's be an easy one for sure. Chicago at Detroit. Now, the one reason why I picked this is Detroit's coming off a big loss. Chicago is going to be very disappointed after the Monday Nighter. We could, again, another division rival here. Could be a lot of pushing for that first W because you don't want to let anybody run away with this lead.
For sure. 0-2 is crazy. Detroit is looking like the team that misses their offensive coordinator. So that's kind of like another layer to it there. I like the drama. But yeah, I'm going with Detroit. I know Caleb Williams and the Bears are actually still a solid team. Mm-hmm. Detroit was not going to go 0-2 in my opinion.
Yeah, I think home opener they're going to come out firing. I think the word we were looking for washout was a bust.
A bust, yes.
I knew we were thinking the same word. There you go.
100%.
Philly and KC. Oof. On the Sunday Nighter. Oh my goodness, in KC. I think Arrowhead's going to be a crazy place to play today or this week for sure.
Yeah, I don't know with the Chiefs without I don't think Xavier Worthy's going to play. So, like, they've already targeted Hollywood Brown 14 times or something like that last week. Yeah, it's going to be a tough go for the Chiefs. But you know what? At home, I'm going to take the Chiefs in a grind out win against the Philadelphia Eagles because they were so embarrassed. They got a chip on their shoulder.
I think it's also going to be you're feeling KC. I think there's gonna be a lot of 50 sightings of our recently engaged young lady just because they're at home, beats Brazil. But I'm thinking I'm taking Philly. I think they know how important it is to start the division strong, to start the season strong. They're trying to go back to back, and I think Philly comes in, has a I think there's I'm going to say 3 opening drives where they score points. That's where I'm going off. 3 opening drives score points to really put the foot to throat
Mm.
and put a lot of pressure on KC because like you said, a lot of fundamental pieces are missing from that team on the other side of the ball. So there is an opportunity here. There's some cracks in the armor, and when you're the champ, you got to take those cracks and blow them wide open.
I will say this: I think Philly will be missing Jalen Carter. Spitting in Dak's face, unacceptable. Like it's pretty
Yeah,
funny actually watching the whole thing. I don't know if you saw it.
yeah.
Dak did spit. He was 5 yards away from him, but totally baited Jalen Carter to doing something so stupid. Like how stupid can you be? So I would assume he's going to get a 1 game suspension,
I think so
and
too.
he's going to miss that KC game. So I think that's going to play a
It's
role.
just that like you whenever you played against guys you knew you had bad tempers,
But yeah,
it just was like, how can I needle you in a way that's different? How can I try something silly just to throw you off your game? Because once you got him, you got him. Once you got him, you got him.
it's scary to do that downtown Toronto. I'm not going to lie. All right, these guys
Well,
just they got
that's a different story.
tempers, and their tempers go next level. So
I don't want to get into a fist fight. I just want to have some piss mess ball. So we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that one alone. All right, the Monday Nighter is our one of the first week where we got 2 games. We got Tampa at Houston.
crazy. CJ Stroud and the Texans looked awful. They looked awful
Yep.
to me.
Not
Tampa
great.
also looked like they were a step slow. They came into they got the W, but they looked a step slow to me. They looked a little off. So it should be a good game. I would love to see Houston come back, bounce back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Houston to take down Tampa. They're more desperate. They're more desperate.
Okay. I
Can't
think
go 0-2.
yeah, because in with the division that soft, you don't want to have any sort of gaps there.
Mhm.
I'll flip the script. I'll go with Tampa. I think Mayfield comes out again and does some damage. Because again, he's a very just pie in the sky, confident kind of guy. I think after last week's, um, I wouldn't say debacle, after underperforming last week and such high expectations for this team, he'll come on gunning. He'll come on gunning. And then we have Chargers at Las Vegas, another interdivisional game.
Yeah, you have to give Vegas some credit. They look better than what I expected. Geno Smith, Jacoby Myers, they're a great connection already, and Nash and Genty's only going to get better. Their run game's
Yeah,
going to be got to be a driving force for them, and that's Pete Carroll's way. So let's. I think Vegas will continue to ascend in the right direction, but the Chargers, like we said, we've boosted them up. They are the real deal. I think they will win this game, not handedly, but they'll be in control.
I think so too. I mean, it's tough for Vegas since they lost Amari Cooper like last minute.
Yeah,
Even
unexpected.
though, yeah, he's not the Amari Cooper of old, he was still withdrawn targets, withdrawn defenses, right? So kudos to them for making a good start to the year. But I think Justin's going to be too much. And again, it may not be a blowout, but it'll feel like in control. And that'll be a late game. So I'm telling everybody right now, I'm not staying up to watch 100%. There's no way. No way. All right. Make sure you guys let us know who you are picking this week. Let us know how you're doing in your pools.
Join
If
our
you're in the
survivor pool. You can
beat me
still
to
join
it,
our survivor pool.
lots of time to join the survivor pool. Link will be posted in the YouTube video and on our Instagram and everywhere else.
You and I
A lot
both
of fun.
squeaked by in Survivor this
Yes.
week.
Oh, absolutely.
You had
Absolutely.
Pittsburgh, I had
Yeah.
the Bengals. Give us
I
a
didn't think it was going
survivor
to be that
pick.
close.
Give us a survivor pick, or should we choose one together?
You know what? I will give me 2 seconds. Let's take a look here.
The Sports Reverends survivor pick. This is for you and all your survivor leagues. If anyone wants to join ours, you can still do that. Link is in our Instagram bio and will be in this YouTube description as well. So check that out. You may be a week behind, but that's okay. We already have 3 eliminated in our survivor pool.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Let me just make sure I get the right one here. I'm looking 2024. All right, week number 2. And I'm going to take. This is an easy one. I'm taking Dallas this week. Picking
Okay.
Dallas this week.
I'll run with you. Let's go Cowboys.
Let's go
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Sports
All
Reverends
right,
pick will be
locked
the
in.
Cowboys for Survivor.
Locked in.
Here we go.
Awesome. All right, fun time of the year. Lots of football. Let's get going. But also a fun time of the year because the Jays not only hold a 2-game lead over the Yankees with 18 games to play on the top of the AL East, they are currently number 1 with a half game over Detroit in the overall AL. And if you had said that to me at the beginning of the season this year on March 27th, I would have called you a liar. I would have straight up called you a liar. No one expected this. 20 games or less than 20 games to go. And the Jays are still holding on. Still holding on. They dropped 2 or 3 to the Yankees, but they got a big 3-game set against Houston, 3 against Baltimore, 4 against Tampa Bay, 3 against Kansas City, 3 against Boston, who could be pushing for the wild card spot, and the last one 3 against Tampa Bay. So that gives you 7 games against Tampa Bay, 3 against Baltimore. That's a lot of games for you to pick up some wins.
Big time.
A lot of games.
Yeah. This Astro series starts tonight, September 9th. It's going to be amazing. Going to be amazing. They have to perform in this one as well to really give them that separation. So, yeah, let's go Jays.
Let's go Jays. Looks like all the boys are playing well, so the only concern is if they're peaking too early.
Yeah.
That's the only concern. But we have
a little
faith.
Disappointing with the Yankees, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're playing in New York. I mean, that's something. That's something. All right, I think that wraps up our sports talk for this week.
Woo.
Super exciting. I'm just going to throw it to you. Let's just go right into it. Real talk. Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I guess the topic on my heart was the importance of trust. And, football is just such a team game. Like you need to have all players on each position really supporting each other and filling in their role. If the offensive line doesn't block well, the whole run game and the whole pass game will struggle. Every position complements one another, and being able to trust your teammates, your coaches being able to trust your players, and vice versa. It's just an integral part to success. There's 3 things that kind of stuck out to me from week 1 was the Ravens head coach, John Harbaugh. All right. They were destroying all game long. The Bills started making a big comeback. It was their last possession, their last drive. They came down to a 4th and 2, and Coach Harbaugh decides to punt the ball. And he has one of the top running backs in the whole league, if not the top. He's one of the biggest beasts, but he may have made this choice earlier because of what happened earlier in the game, earlier in the 4th quarter, to really spark part of the Bills' comeback. Is Derrick Henry, their running back? He fumbled the ball, and he had this choice. Coach Harbaugh had this choice to either go back to him or to punt the ball away. And Coach Harbaugh, I think maybe this influenced his opinion, chose to punt the ball away when him and Lamar Jackson, a 2-yard run, that's less than average for them, right?
Yeah.
So then Josh Allen drives, as we know, and they leads the team to a field goal game winner. So you see the breakdown of trust. There's 2 other things I'll just quickly point out before I throw it to you is we talked about Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman was a total struggle fest in his rookie year for the Bills. Yeah. Entire rookie season, they thought he was a bust. And then the trust from the coach, the trust that has built between Josh Allen and him. He has this huge, massive week 1 in his 2nd year. And he's, like I said, a sought after waiver wire fantasy pick. Looks like he's going to be a stud receiver for a long time for Josh Allen. Same thing for Quentin Johnson for the Chargers. Struggled for 2 years, and now there's been some trust built between him and Herbert, and he's had a standout game in week 1. He looks to be another stud receiver for the Chargers. So trust, it's such a tested thing under pressure. I wanted to throw it to you, Coach. Just your thoughts here on the importance of trust and how trust is truly tested under pressure.
Yeah, for sure. The thing about trust is it takes a long time to get it, but not a very long time to lose it. So when you're thinking about trust under pressure, when everything's going well, trust is easy. But as soon as there's a mistake, like you think about the fumble, and I think about times when I'm coaching and I'm looking down the line and I'm like, I need to stop or I need a bucket. I don't know if these are the guys who are going to be able to do it. Or if if the 5 on the court, if one's in foul trouble, it's like, I need him to stay on the court or her to stay on the court. You got to build that trust. And when you're under pressure is when that relationship gets tested, not only individually, but within God and yourself. In Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, it tells us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Now, this verse is very poignant to me because I like to trust in myself a lot. I like to make a lot of mistakes. And of those mistakes, I like to make them multiple times because I find it difficult to give up control and I find it difficult to give up trust. So when things do go wrong, it's like, okay, number one, I could have avoided this by trusting God earlier or trusting the process earlier. But now that I'm in it, do I still do the same things that got me into this hole to begin with? Or do I say, hey, God, my bad. I'm going to trust in you. Please give me wisdom. Please give me an answer. Please give me a path to work my way out of it. And that doesn't mean that consequences are just going to disappear. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is trusting in God with all of your heart and not worrying about what you can do leads to many opportunities. And I've said this multiple times in the pod. We tend to think that God operates in this box of physics and this box of what happens in this world, where God is outside of the box. He created the box. We can't put God in this box. And so when you see Coach Harbaugh or any other coaches or even leaders pulling back their trust, God doesn't do that with us because he knows all, he is all, he's all powerful. When we fail, he doesn't lose confidence in us. We may lose confidence in ourselves, and that's part of being human. We may lose confidence in our teammates, but God doesn't lose confidence in us.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah.
Trust also requires risk. You know,
Yes.
it's never safe. Coaches that go for it on 4th and 2, they are risking the game. So you can
Mm.
understand what Coach Harbaugh is thinking as well. They're saying, I believe in my guys and our faith. Trusting God means taking steps when we don't know how to work out. That's when you are truly trusting. Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we don't see. Trust means stepping forward even when we can't see the results. That's a really hard thing to do, to take that
Yeah.
step when you can't see it. I know that's true in both of our lives. Do you have any examples of that, Coach?
Yeah, it's. I'll give you a basketball example. I remember trying out in grade 8 for the provincial basketball team. Um, it was my first real major tryout. We're at the University of Winnipeg. Got my skinny little legs, and they tried to write the 3-digit number on my leg. I'm like, well, it's a wrapping around leg, whatever, who knows? And I was just out of my league by far. Like there was nothing close to like I wasn't ready. And that first day being cut really opened my eyes into how far I had to go. And I knew going into grade 9, I'm playing on JV. I'm not going to be, the best player there, but I had to trust the process and put in the work. I required me taking the risk of like working out harder, working on skills that I wasn't really comfortable with, focusing on the fundamentals so that I could build throughout the season. So when I went the next year and I tried it again, even though I was the tallest guy on my team at 5'9", 5'10" at that point, maybe I took the risk and I trusted myself and the work that I put in. And I went and I stood with the post guys who were at least, you know, 4 or 5, maybe some 6 inches taller than me. But because I trusted my process, because I trusted my footwork, because I trusted all the work that I put into this, building that foundation, and because I knew how I played, I made the team. I think I was the first kid from Linden Christian to make any sort of provincial team at that point. And that's where that risk part comes. It's like, do you take that extra effort when you are feeling depressed, when you're feeling like the world's against you, when you're feeling like there's no hope? Do you take that extra time and say, okay, you know what? This is my prayer time. I'm not going to cap it off in 15 minutes. I'm not going to cap it off because I feel hungry. I'm not going to cap it off because I feel tired. I'm going to pursue. I'm going to push. I'm going to dig that little bit extra because I know that, like we said, lean not on our own understanding, right? We are being sure of what we hope for, certain things we don't see. We don't know what God is going to do, right? We don't know the plans he has in place. but he expects us to trust in him. He expects us to do that dirty work, so to speak, and pursue and push because we want to grow our relationship with him. So, like you said, like you said, it's here. If you always play it safe, you're not really putting your full trust in God. And that's something that has always been a very clear, even though sports moment for me is you put that time in, you may not get the result right away. Like that was a long year, right? And playing on the JV team was not easy because I didn't play a lot, but that's how you push to get better. And that's how you push to grow your faith.
100%. I love that. I love that story. My quick story on trust is our championship game in grade 12. We kind of had four of us guys that really played, and Sean, our best guy, he was fouled out. Matt wasn't having a great game that day, and I was having a great game in our finals, and it was going well. But it came down to a buzzer beating shot, and I put my trust in Bubs. Steve Cameron, shout out, getting married next year. Put him in the corner. He hit this rainbow. He shot the ball like I swear it hit the clouds. The ball. That's how high it went in the air in his arc. And swish, bang. We go up two, and they have about 3 seconds left, and they chuck up a half court shot and lose. It was trusting. I've seen him put in the work. I've seen him go from I've played basketball with him since grade 5. How much better he got was incredible, right? He even made it to a college basketball team. That's how much effort and work he put in to come from where he was to see where he was. I got to see that. That's what gave me the trust to put in him too. So there is something to that as well. When you see someone putting in the work, when you see someone doing their best, it's easier to trust in them as well. So that's how something that at least reminded me that's how we should be mimicking our lives for others to see as well, that they see a
Absolutely.
Christ follower who's putting in the work, who's trying to do their best, is not perfect in any way, but Christ helps them become whole, and that's what it's about. So that was an encouraging point for me here. One quick last thought is, God is faithful. You've kind of touched on this already, is that even when we fail, there's a big difference in football that trust can be lost, that a coach can bench a player or lose confidence in someone. But God doesn't treat us like that. Psalm 20 verse 7 says that some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. And that's God's track record. It's perfect. You trust in him. Even when we fumble, he stays faithful. He gives us the ball back. He gives us another chance. Why don't we practice, even instead of trying to, say, put the ball in God's hands? No, allow him to put it in your hands, wherever he calls you to go, and be faithful to follow him. That's kind of the thought that came to mind. That was, I thought was encouraging, because that's what we're called to do. God wants to give you, he wants to give you different opportunities. He wants to bless you with stuff, and he's going to say, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it to glorify my kingdom? Final thoughts to you, Coach.
Yeah, I think that's you covered a lot of things there. The thing we have to remember is that we are human, we are sinful in nature, and we are not perfect. And if we strive to do better each and every day, even just having that mentality of saying, I'm gonna pray a little more unceasingly today. I'm gonna trust God with more decisions today. The small little changes you make will build the bigger and bigger habits. And when you're all of a sudden in the valley of the shadow of death, as we've been talking about in Psalm 23 in the youth kids, when you're in that place and you remember, oh, God is going to set up that table for me. My cup is going to overflow. I just have to pursue. I just have to trust God. And I just have to push, push, and push. It's very easy for us to think about in sports terms. Run that extra man maker. Run that extra, do those sit-ups, do those push-ups, get those shots up. When it comes to our faith, it's kind of the same thing. It's about exercising those faith muscles and saying, okay, God, I read your scripture. It says, trust in you. And then I'm just going to hesitantly, I'm going to give it to you. And even though I may not be too excited by it, trust in what God's going to do for you. So we love you guys, and we want to hear what God has done for you when you've trusted him. We want to hear those stories, and so we can share them, not just to say, hey, how great our Sports Reverends fans are, but how good and how faithful is our God. So please let us, DM us a story. If you don't want us to share your names and stuff, we can always modify that. But We want to hear from you guys, not just about the sports, but what God is also doing in your lives and what victories He's winning for you.
Love it. I love it. We got some church young adults that are now on college teams. We shout out to Garnett
Hey,
on
Garnett,
he's playing for the George Brown College, whatever they're called, and Jordan Weeks is down in the States playing football at like Kansas
that'd
Tech, I
be.
believe it's called, and
Yeah.
so
He's a big boy. He's a big
they're
boy.
yeah, big fella for sure. He's gonna dominate. So they're pushing to use their platforms to honor God. So we're proud of them. Wanted to give them shout
Absolutely.
outs and excited to see what God has in store for them. So
We love
hope
that.
you
All
guys are
right.
encouraged today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Make sure you check us out on Facebook for all you old heads out there, on X, on Instagram. We want to hear from you guys. Check out the website. There's lots of places to donate and always good stuff being popped up on there. And add yourselves to our survivor pool. There's no cost to entry. The winner gets $50. And yeah, you can win $50. Who doesn't want to do that? So we love you guys. God loves you. And make a difference this week. Peace.
Peace.